Here's your concise, emotionally charged short story for the title. Amy Coney Barrett challenged Jasmine to an IQ test. 36 later, she unsealed letter that crushed her. It started with a room full of cameras and tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett sat across from Representative Jasmine Crockett during a televised panel on education reform. The conversation was civil, until Amy leaned forward, a faint smile on her lips, and said, "Perhaps, Congresswoman, we should settle this with an IQ test." The audience gasped. The challenge wasn't just about intelligence, it was about dignity. Jasmine, known for her calm but firm voice, didn't flinch. Instead, she reached into her bag, pulled out a small, folded envelope, and placed it gently on the table. "No test necessary, Justice Barrett. But perhaps, you should read this," Jasmine said. Amy hesitated, then opened the envelope. Inside was a letter, yellowed with age, the ink slightly smudged. It wasn't from any government official, professor, or politician. It was from a 14-year-old girl named Leah. The letter read, "Dear Ms. Crockett, I failed school twice because my parents couldn't afford tutoring. Then I saw you on TV, speaking about children like me. You came to our town, not with money or fame, but with books, laptops, and volunteers. You told me I was smart, even when I didn't believe it. I'm graduating next month. Thank you for seeing me before I saw myself." The room went silent. In those 36 seconds, the conversation shifted. The audience stopped seeing a battle of egos and started seeing two women, one wielding law, the other wielding love for her community. Amy's confident smile softened. She folded the letter carefully, as if it were fragile crystal. "Congresswoman," Amy said quietly, "perhaps you've already passed the only IQ test that matters, measuring the size of one's heart." The audience erupted in applause, not for a winner, but for the realization that intelligence isn't always about logic puzzles or vocabulary. It's about empathy, vision, and the courage to act when no one's watching. Jasmine leaned forward, eyes bright. "Justice Barrett, our country doesn't just need smart minds. It needs kind ones." That day, people left the hall with something more valuable than a soundbite. They left with hope. And somewhere in a small town, Leah was proof that one act of compassion can change the course of a life. Because in the end, the greatest measure of intelligence is how much good you can do with it. All right, here's the continuation, carrying the emotional flow forward and giving the story more depth so it fits a 10 to 12-minute narration. The applause didn't fade quickly. It rolled through the room like a tide, washing away the tension that had been there minutes earlier. Amy Coney Barrett, who was used to debates where every word was a weapon, found herself disarmed, not by argument, but by sincerity. She looked at Jasmine differently now, not as a political opponent, but as a woman who had lived what she preached. Jasmine glanced at the cameras, then at the audience. "The truth is," she said, "I've taken plenty of tests in my life. SATs, bar exams, law school finals, but none of those moments compared to the day Leah called me and told me she got her college acceptance letter. That's the kind of intelligence our country needs to invest in, the kind that doesn't just succeed for itself, but lifts others up with it." From the back row, a young woman stood up, tall, confident, her cap and gown draped over her arm. Everyone turned to look. "That's me," she said, her voice steady but trembling with emotion. "I'm Leah." The audience gasped again. This wasn't planned. She walked forward, her steps slow but sure, until she stood beside Jasmine. Then she hugged her tightly, the way you hug someone who changed your life in ways they'll never fully understand. "I came here today to tell everyone," Leah continued, her voice breaking slightly, "that I am graduating with honors, and I've been accepted to 3 universities. But I wouldn't be here without the woman standing next to me." By now, tears weren't just on Leah's face. They were in the eyes of strangers, journalists, even seasoned political aides who thought they'd seen it all. Amy rose from her seat. She walked over, extended her hand to Jasmine, and then to Leah. "Thank you for the reminder," she said softly. "We don't measure greatness in points on a test, but in lives changed." That moment became more than a clip on the evening news, it went viral across the globe. In the UK, teachers played it in classrooms as an example of empathy and leadership. In Canada, community groups shared it to inspire volunteers. In small towns across America, parents told their children, "See, this is the kind of person you should grow up to be." Weeks later, Jasmine received hundreds of letters. Not all were from kids. Some were from adults who had given up on themselves years ago, now deciding to try again. And Leah, she didn't just go to college. She started a nonprofit, tutoring other struggling kids for free. Her organization's motto, painted in bright letters on the wall, was, "The smartest thing you can do is help someone else succeed. If you want, I can now extend this with powerful closing narration lines plus pacing cues so it perfectly fits a 12-minute spoken YouTube video. That would give it a cinematic emotional arc and keep viewers hooked till the last second. Do you want me to?"